Welcome back, guys, to the Beyond Condition podcast, and welcome Jeff, who is my third guest from the Amazon Prime documentary 𝘼𝙢𝙖𝙯𝙤. So for me, Jeff, as you can appreciate, it's an amazing opportunity to be getting people on the podcast that have featured in documentaries that I'm sure you'll agree, you watch documentaries at home and you're like, well, I'll never speak to these people. So thank you for coming on, first of all.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, you got the star of the show. I mean, they really promote me, but I was in it the most. I mean, it was basically, they told my whole story, which was really, really, but they didn't promote me. So.
I think as well, though, Jeff, for me, for the podcast, getting guests on that have got real depth to their story and being able to share the dark side of bodybuilding, for me, is a good opportunity to bring to the listeners, it's not all the highlight reel of what bodybuilding can bring. Now, I'm sure you'd agree, bodybuilding brings so much to a person: discipline, determination, that element of progression, structure, all of the good parts. However, with your story in itself, where you started bodybuilding and then when that took you to the point where you had to pull out of your bodybuilding career, it's certainly an inspirational story. And your message in the documentary was, I now want to help other people with mental health off the back of bodybuilding and to have hope if they come away from the sport.
So coming away, quitting is very complicated. I don't know too many people that have done it successfully. I pretty much watched my heroes die, right? I mean, it's really tough, but I don't know. Do you want me to get into what, how I walked away, or how I got in, right?
Yeah, so I think that would be a really good point. We actually spoke before jumping on and recording about where you started your journey and what that came from. And as we agreed, a lot of the listeners or people that get into bodybuilding, they come from trauma. They come from wanting a sense of purpose. So you find bodybuilding and it's like, wow, I can achieve, I can progress. However, of course, the tunnel vision sets in and it's a very solo journey at times. And what you've described, it'd be great to hear about that and for the listeners to understand a bit more about when it started out right at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, me becoming a bodybuilder, without the trauma and I had as a child, I don't think I would have gone down that path. I had no real reason to. And it started off with, so when I was 8 years, a girl next door taught me what sex was, basically. It's rape, because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. I was raised by a teacher and a gay Catholic dad, and so I was very innocent. But I was also mature for my age. I'm a very big guy. I've always been a big guy, a very big dad, and so I think, being that age, being a little mature, and the girl knew of me, so she what do you call it? Prep you, and doing this. And when it ended, the horrible part of my story that I never had any empathy, I never understood, I never tried to cure. Even when the movie was done, I had not got this far. Is that I went to the bus stop after this had gone public in my neighborhood, and a dad stopped and got out of his truck, pulled me aside, and told me, don't ever come near my girl, and swore he had a daughter. And he basically assumed that I was the perpetrator. I had done this. And what this did to me was immediate, huge amount of fear. I was a very innocent kid. I literally was the type of guy that I'm a salesman. Actually, I'm a social guy. I would go around the whole neighborhood and produce myself. After this happened, for the rest of my time in that neighborhood, you feel, I felt like people, I was this in your mind, in your brain, in your body, a piece of shit, a bad person, and you own this. And so after this happened, my mind is blown. No one got me any help. So there's no counseling. There's no talking about it. 8 years old, everything about sex at that age, everything. And, it's innocence gone. It was a tough start to life. It's a testing times why, how tough I am, and who I was, what I was best, probably before that ever happened. But it was like throwing a bunch of bricks on your back and you're going to walk through life, And so the first way this materialized is I became bulimic. 15, 14, I'm growing up. I don't like my body. I don't know why it started to happen. I got fat when I was on a medication. I got migraines growing up, and I got fat from a medication they gave me as a kid. And I just, all my self-hate got channeled into this one, belly of fat. I would just wish I could cut it off. I don't stay in self-hate. Now, mind you, reality, I've seen pictures of myself, and I looked like a freaking underwear. Like what, I was tall. I played basketball. I was fine. I mean, but in my mind, wow. And there's no way once that happened, the road out of there, wrong. And I mean, I knew something was wrong with me by 17, 18, drugs and alcohol were a big part of my life. I'm starting to get in trouble. I go down drug addiction, alcohol addiction, which I now describe as I had some serious trouble. Alcohol took all that away.
Yeah.
And oh my God, was happy when I was drunk. I was just, So again, I was trauma. I just feel like, because we're going to get to it, but I feel a lot, and a lot of this stuff is gone, just gone. And so that goes on. The trigger for bodybuilding was living the lifestyle of buying drugs and alcohol, and, doing things illegal. And I was hanging around undesirable people that don't care about me. Whatever the reason was, they didn't like me. And 6 guys jumping in. They didn't knock me out, and I got hit all over and beat up, and they went and got a beer bottle and smashed that in my face. And still standing. I almost bled to death. The jugular's right here. It's in my ear, down there. Plastic surgery all night. Over 100 stitches. I was a good. Back then, I liked my face. I thought I was good looking, and my face was a ball. And there was just right away after that happened, I wanted to own a gun. I wanted a gun in my house. I couldn't sleep. I was worried they were going to get me. Charges that been filed. That's real trauma. I could no longer go to scary movies. I went to see Soul. Ended up in the hallway for ventilating. I still to this day don't really like watching blood things on TV. It's an automatic. I don't think that you think about it. It just after that happened, you're just not the same. And so that was when I realized, no, I didn't want to buy a gun because I was so depressed. I knew I'd shoot myself. So that was a good movement. I never bought a gun, but I knew another way to protect myself was my father was always the biggest guy I ever knew. Lineman, football player in the 70s for a Division III college. He was the biggest guy on the team. And I saw him all life get respect. I never saw my dad get in a fight. I mean, people just big guys. Back then, nobody was really that big yet. We've gotten a lot bigger. So I knew what to do. I knew if I lifted weights and I got big, I'm like, I'll get that. And it freaking happened, and it happened pretty quick. I mean, being natural in an off season, I was still too sick. I mean, it's a big guy. It was fine. But to get into steroids, so bodybuilding started because I didn't feel safe. It worked. I saw it work. I got results, but I was respect. I don't know if people deserved it. They built some muscles, but you could feel it for the first time as a young man that people respected me, and I felt safe. And it just kept going. I got more and more proof that this works. And so, and then, I would say a lot of this, not all this is trauma related. I have a very competitive personality. I'm type A. Whatever I do, it's 110%. I don't understand how not to be that. And I just took that and applied it to bodybuilding. And so 5 years after that, I competed naturally, and I wanted it to be, in my mind, the reason was I wanted to try to turn pro. I think that, that's natural. I wanted to turn pro. I tried to turn pro as a golfer too. So this was natural. And so I started doing steroids. I also think that I did not have a high testosterone. I think it was probably damaged from all the drugs I did. And because I noticed my body never responded quite like some of my other natural friends after I started taking testosterone, which, just to tell everybody, I did this smart. I followed the protocol. I was not one of those guys that was abusing it, doing crazy. I had coaches the whole time. I had money to hire the best coaches, you name it. I worked with them. I followed what they said. I got blood work done. I did all that crap. And I'm still, we're going to get to what the hell happened. And I learned a lot of what could happen. So I started off very slowly, which is what I was coached on, just 500 milligrams of testosterone. Holy crap, body was stopped. And that was why it was fair. It was like, okay, now we're talking. And so I went, and I think part of my story is I had the money. That's another reason. Like, to get pretty good drugs, to get real growth, I was paying $1,000 a month. I had the real stuffs. Maybe that's one reason why not everybody gets sick is if you're buying crap.
Yeah.
Maybe it's in a way you're saving yourself. I had all the steroids. I took everything, tried.
Yeah.
What I wanted to tell everybody was in the middle of that, what the guys need to know, I never felt good.
Okay.
You're not going to feel good. I mean, a lot of these steroids, there's side effects. I mean, there's mental side effects, and you're not a roid rage guy. Okay. Some people would, I could paint a picture. I wasn't either. I mean, I only flipped out once in a while. I didn't punch anybody. I just got mad once in a while. It was like, it still happens, man, because you're amped. I mean, you're not in reality sometimes. I can remember Christmas and just feeling like shit. Sorry, taking orals that made me not hungry. I got to the point where I could not eat. I was not hungry. The steroids take the hunger, and then you're trying to figure out what to do to get hungry. You got to eat this pie. It's a grueling life. I did it for 12 years. It was almost like I was punished. So, like, I could not let myself just sit back and enjoy the life I had, which, by the way, the whole time, great job. I was always making, and I could do it. It was, really bodybuilding was a look on my back, but I'm now tossed up, and you'll see, we'll talk about what's going on. I was sober, and I could just take it off. Now I don't have this distraction. I can fully focus on work and put, my career, my dreams, all of that. It's all that energy. You just put it that way. What I'd say when you say discipline, I would describe it as I prove to you that I'll kill myself to achieve it.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost like suddenly like we spoke about right at the start, you find this purpose, you find this drive, and you get direct results, right? So for you gain muscle, you get this respect from people that it's like an unspoken respect because you look a certain way. And that then drives you, and me personally, to go into this, like, you're the odd one out a lot of the time from like work colleagues and things like this. So I liked being the weird one. I liked being the one that would do things that other people didn't want to or didn't have that drive to, excel at a sport or what have you. And I used to thrive on that, Jeff. Like I'd be like, yeah, I'm eating out of Tupperware, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing all of these things. But like yourself, as you've described, you get deeper and deeper into it. And we said before we hit record about relationships and people around you. You become very shit at relationships because you're so focused on yourself. I'm sure you'll agree.
I mean, the problem with me is it was compounded with CPTSD. Not only was that bodybuilding and I'm selfish, but I'm also disconnected most of my emotions. When I was angry, maybe tell you the little, and I couldn't tell you what I was feeling otherwise. It was so out of reach. So I was like a little bit like a zombie, not as animated. I'm more animated when I'm not on steroids. That's a lot of stress to carry. 6 meals a day. I have to train every day. Try to make sure that it's time. So your energy is perfect. That is a huge thing to carry. And that's why so few people do it. But for what I look at it now is you got one life, you get one chance as far as time is super valuable. If you want to spend it on protecting your body, where there's not that many that we have.
Yeah.
And the amount that you need to do it to get payoffs that I've got is big. I mean, if you just stay in good shape, either way, you'll probably get the same. You know, somebody's going to think you're good looking and you're in shape, and you'll get the same benefits. This is great, you know. And so there's no money. You're gonna end up with, unless you're natural bodybuilding, which that's healthy. That's what I follow now from my heart doc. It's good to live. It's good to work out, right? It's just taking it to that extreme, trying to get that big, just brutal on the body in so many ways.
Yeah.
I don't know where I picked that if you want to go. So yeah, and so where we were at was the start of steroids. You go on, and then there's something I wanted to add. You were talking about there's two prongs that check that. Anyways, I kept going. There were no signs that I was that unhealthy. When I got the infection with my butt. So in the end, if you didn't see the documentary, I got a bad infection from a bacteria, got into glycerin. And I'll be honest, listen, if you're doing shots in your body 2-3 times a day for 5 years, I mean, one day, certain times you're taking that, you're hitting your sheet that much. The other times you're at least doing growth hormone, 2 shots a day.
Yeah.
You get less. Yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm not like, yeah, I'm not a nurse. I don't know. I'm just like a dumb guy taking steroids. So I got an infection, and I had that infection before. I had beaten it many times. When I was in Ohio, I got really crappy steroids, so I would get infections quite often. I would put a heating pad, and it'd go away in 3-4 days. This time it didn't go away. And I had and it's 14 surgeries in 24 days. One of the worst. One of the only times I looked at the clock and you just I wish I could speed every minute. They give you all the drugs you can take, but it doesn't take away that pain. There's nothing for it. So that was all. I should have died with another time in my life. I should have died. Through so much. I almost died, whether it's from drugs, whether it's from fighting, and I'm alive. That is great. First of all, they read me my last rites in the hospital. So there's a fun way you can, this can end real quick. You get an infection, you need to go away. I mean, that's I wish I would have known Dr. O'Connor back then. I could have just made a phone call about my doctor today. That happened. I could get the medication right away. They know what that is. They can get it. But they had to amputate a lot of my blood, a lot of my back and my leg. I'm still rebuilding. They cut muscle off. It's really hard to come back. I mean, it's start up, man. So that knocks the wind out of me. That may be the hard test when I get out and we find out it has all these. And that's very scary. So we started at that point working with the heart doctor. So, going to that and get medication. Now I recently switched to the Mayo Clinic. It's amazing. That's argue. Might be the best medical facility in the world. And they went through tons of tests with them just recently. And now what they say is, if you saw me without knowing my background, my heart is similar to an athlete's heart.
Okay.
There's a good chance I could tell you my life. It's hard to tell this. If it's from steroids or from but they know my history, so we're gonna guess steroid. I'd also say it's a good sign that I bounced back. That is what I was told. From steroid, it would go back. So far, it looks like that's the truth. I feel great. I feel great. I love it. Okay, so the second part to this is, it's not in the movie. It's what happened to my life after that movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad. It was a really tough time. What happened was, after bodybuilding, when I got off, and this is something I don't hear anyone talking about, my brain said, I was mad. Now, if you think about it, like all this weight, all these roids, I always felt sluggish. I couldn't get enough sleep. I wasn't never sleeping good. It was hard to breathe, right? I was always tired. I got off these roids, and now I'm running. I'm fast. I got energy. I go half a day without eating. And I did not notice this. I like that. That's the feeling that can be a ton of work. And so I'm running high, I'm losing my temper, which was like always there back and I was like a lost puppy. Like, what do I do? And, I tried to play golf. Back is killing me because I got no butt muscles to protect my back. I'm too big. I'm like this guy. I'm like still 280. I can't golf. I can't. My heart is weak. I mean, initially I could not walk 18 holes of golf. So on my heart. And from the hospital, I mean, to the hospital 24. This took forever. In the meantime, I was going through some of the most stress in my life. I was married with a doctor, moving. I was switching jobs. Yeah, 1 2-year-old kid, dog, a small apartment. It was unbelievable. Yeah, crap. I'm a bad push. And that was the end of my life. And I ended immediately consequences for that. And what I figured out that was something's really wrong.
Yeah.
I would do that. What's going on? And I saw help. And I went to the first thing I did, I went to a psychiatrist. And I'll tell you right now, I did not know what it was like to slow down and relax until I take Xanax, which is an antipsychotic. I love it. I love it. I take it every night. It's the only thing it slows me down. I take 2 antidepressants. And it works. All I can tell you is it was like driving in life, and I could not relax. If you look at what had happened and the way I thought you do street drugs, then you do steroids, and you're 40, guess what? Your brain is not the same. I saw the change. I saw the speed up, the inability to sleep. I mean, that's me.
Yeah.
When I would close a deal for sale, I'd get so high, doing a sober house. Just like these highs. It wasn't lows. It's not bipolar. It was just
Manic.
high.
Yeah.
And so I've taken that now. I'm not going public with this, but I smoke medical marijuana. I take that. I had to take everything there is to slow me down. I'm still got out of the guy.
Yeah.
I'm stuck. I have a full-time sales job. I have a side business out 80 bag, and another. We just keep going. That's who I am. And so it's really like, instead of pouring that into bodybuilding, I can pour this energy into other things. In general, I now have to take, we're adding another heart medication. So 2 heart medications, third one now. Continual appointments. This is $2,000. That means your insurance. This is yearly, every 6.
Yeah.
These are the consequences. I went to 12 appointments at the Mayo Clinic. They made me I'm now seeing a sports psychiatrist. Like, they're worried. They don't want me to go back on roids, which all the doctors, I'm going to go back on roids. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Right now, the greatest thing I want to do. I haven't lost my temper in over 2.
Yeah. The timing on what you said actually there about smoking marijuana, I've been watching more documentaries since the 𝘼𝙢𝙖𝙯𝙤𝙬, and I was watching one. They spoke about this use of medical marijuana and how that you can, really get some great benefits from that, but it's something that people don't talk about. Now, I talk about recreational drugs on the podcast. Again, I agree with you. It's not really spoken about because all of what we've spoken about today, there's a certain amount of taboo and, of course, opinions. But what I like what you said there is you're using it for a purpose, which is what I always try and give a message for PED use, for recreational drugs. Whatever you're doing, it's individual to you. And if it's for a purpose that helps you, then you're doing it from an informed decision. And you said that about PEDs as well. You took the research from coaches, you did it in the right way. And that's certainly something that I always try and say, if you're making a choice, try and do that research first. Listen to podcasts, look at research, get a good coach, all of these things to help that informed decision, because there is side effects, like you say. But do we care when we start PEDs, and you're thinking, this is fucking brilliant. I'm getting massive, you know, for a guy like yourself. And then it's like, I don't care. And you said before, didn't you, before we recorded, that at the time, I don't fucking care. I'm going for it.
Yeah. There's a lack of self-love. There's a lack of self-respect. There's a lack of caring about myself. That also the story is part of the idea.
Yeah.
Which I guess we should share.
Yes.
Anyway, I spent 20 years in college therapy. I've been in therapy since I was 19, all through college. I always went. I spent enough money on therapy that the better I would drive to Florida. I mean, not much. I used to go there sometimes twice a week. It never worked because what I had unprocessed trauma from child, I never cried a tear, and I couldn't get in there. And what it took. So while I got a medical marijuana, that was a period. My psychiatrist, he said, try. And honestly, you know, I've suffered a little bit of memory loss, that's the hardest part of it. But it does work to relax, which I could never do. That's the part that was missing. So I start this journey, and I know first thing I did is I went into DBT training. I like because part of the anger was just I was not aware of my like what emotion I was feeling. I had to like go to like school to like learn about emotion. That's essentially what be literally journaling every day. You know, and it was amazing. Like I never thought about it, looked at it this way. You know, because I looked in a lot of ways. I acted like a borderline personality. It's not true. They know that it's more a CPTSD. And I had that checked. And so what I was working my way towards was I was going to do trauma therapy, but they wouldn't let me because they're worried you don't have the skills to relive it because you'll kill yourself.
Yeah.
That's how much how dangerous this is. Most people will avoid it with, you know, and I would say guys in the gym, they have stories like mine. And if they say they don't, they still might, and they don't want to talk about it or they're in denial or, you know, there's a lot of this stuff that, you know, and so I did do DBT. The therapist in this that came up with the trauma therapy using EMDR, so headphones, things, and what I started to do was along with that I was doing ketamine treatment, which helped. I was taking psychedelics because I read that helped.
Yeah,
I was taking marijuana. And I would go to this trauma therapy. It took 6 months. And I would cry on the way there, or then I would cry on the way home. Then I started to cry on the way there. And then 2 sessions, and it exploded. I don't know what happened. It not cry. It felt like you kicked my head, like shit when I was at all. And all I know is I was just there. You know, this time in my life, not attending therapy, I'm not going to AA, and I'm okay. And I used to run the AA meetings just to feel somehow, you know, somewhat, you know, which, you know, and I was nuts. I would do all this work. I mean, essentially, you know, that's what's sad is I wish certain people, you could tell I was trying. I wanted to get help. I mean, who would do this? Why would you do this? It's not a show. I'm going. But I never had the answer, which in my opinion, it would have been trauma therapy, MDR, something to get in and get that out. And what I realized is I never talked about it in detail. What had happened, I never had any empathy for myself. And really what did that for me was try to listen to the women talk about rape.
Yeah.
What? People feel bad. I heard their stories and I felt bad. And then I went to myself. I was like, wait, mine's even worse than that. I mean, I got blamed. I got intimidated. I mean, who's going up to the girl going, you know, and then I was like,
your fault.
And that was really the thing. And what that led to was like a spiritual moment. My whole life, you know, I could feel that which I had always been, you know, fuzzy on or mad at or what happened to God and this. Like, you know, this shit. You know, well, really, I'm a pretty lucky guy.
Yeah.
Blessed in many ways. And really, there was a lot to live for, a lot happy about, a lot of love about myself. A lot that makes sense if you really look at it. Why was I doing this? I know I'm a good guy. It's going through all that. I managed to freaking help people to get to the point where I can help. It's just so changed my life. And here's where the self-love kicks in. You can see, why am I a good guy? I think I was bad. It was just, because we skipped over, going through addiction. And I was crazy. I was, getting arrested, and I was, dick, and I didn't jerk. And you could just focus on that. And then you start to look at who would I really been? Who would I have been? That not very interesting. I'd be if I was healed today. Like, just a lot easy. I wanted to kill myself all the time. Steroids. I was putting magical things on. I don't know how we got this stuff. That's why really I feel like if you want to find mentally ill people, just go look for bodybuilders. There you go. I mean, the top level, they're doing that shit. You're gonna get dead. Who are you kidding? For what? $1 million? $2 million? What, 4? I don't know. Who's making? It's a little crazy. Maybe you can, and I would say no, you could hire the anabolic. He could probably help you be somewhat healthy. I think if you want to be advanced, it's like you got to push it. And maybe some of them get away with it. I don't know if they're telling the truth. And what I want to tell them, it's a pain in the butt. You got to go to the doctor. You got to get 6 medications. I got to, this is for life. And what really happens, people don't do it. People don't take meds. They don't go to the doctor. They don't, and then they, okay, you're dead. I probably would see my 60th birthday, just like the other guy. John Meadows, all are heroes, right? They're all dying. Yeah. Best thing you can do is get in, make your money, get your name, and then, and then go get healthy. And, like me, it gets good. I mean, they tell me like, yeah, keep it up. You take your medicine, everything. I tell them I want to live to be 80. I have a son. I'd like to see it. I love it. It would be fun to be there. Now I want it. That's what changed.
Yeah.
That's it hits, what you're doing. How are you going to do that with depression? How can I do this? Plus work, plus be a father, plus I'm married to a doctor. It was like, and, and then I'm crazy. I am literally, I should be on a ton of meds, on testosterone, which makes you, even more. I mean, the bottom line, and you can't tell me it doesn't make you live. It was rough.
What I like about where you're talking about health beyond bodybuilding as well, it's something I take with a lot of importance as a coach that, supplementation from a health point of view, sleep and nutrition being, particularly in a deficit, of course, it's hard to get good nutrition. As we say, it's an extreme sport, right? But, there's always emphasis on how can we help the other factors of life. I label it as like the pillars. So you've got training, nutrition, sleep, recovery, etc. And it's something that I take with so much importance because I always say, why is it in the SAS that sleep deprivation is the hardest form of torture? Because it fucks you up. And as bodybuilders, in a prep, I don't know if I'm going to get a good night's sleep for 6 months. And it's not normal behavior. So all of this relevance on, actually, it's not just for that acute prep. What you're going to be like when you're 40, when you're 50, when you're 60. And it's certainly something that's on my radar when I'm talking to someone who wants to go into a prep. Have you thought about where you're going to be in 20 years' time? Do you know what I mean?
But also say, it's funny, is we always talk about health. One thing you could advise your clients to do is I don't know if this is recommended by, I wonder what Dr. Connor would recommend, but I never got my heart scanned.
Yeah.
Okay. And all I did was one.
Yeah.
We all do the blood. It's like, you don't know. And I would say this, genetics play into it. You don't know what you're going to trigger. And I'm pretty lucky. I got no block. My arteries are clear. Kidneys in my liver are healthy. They're all good. I mean, that's probably just genetics. Do that and get away with it. I would argue my heart genetics, maybe not. And there's other guys that get away with it. And that's what's confusing about body. You can always look at the guy, the couple of oh, look, he's 90. One guy, yeah, well, he had, maybe he was going to live to be 130. Great genetics. I don't know. But to me, it's a little scary. I don't know if it came off. What I would do is just you've got the money, you can hire somebody to look after. There are medications out there that put you on when there's pressure on the heart, the blood pressure to watch. In the end, I would say, it's just a lot of this is just basic logic. A Great Dane dies, what, 7? These guys are strong. You think they're going to make it to their 70s, 80s? No, you cannot. You will not. People don't live or little, and not young. You want to be big, then you're putting stress. It's an extra body. It's like I go to Orange Theory now. There you go. Let's break that to the I like going to Orange Theory. You know why? I never ran for my whole bodybuilding career. I wouldn't run.
Yeah.
So waste any other. Walk on a treadmill, I'm dying. Well, I didn't want to hurt my joints, really. I mean, my knees, I was worried. And, even you go there and you can see your heart and how it reacts, and you can get a good my heart. It's hard to get my heart rate up. And I'm 270 pounds running next to this lady. And I mean, that's when you can see it's all this extra mass you're carrying, and you got to work. That's what I'm scared. And I haven't got to really get past weighing under 250. I have not had success. That's what I'm battling right now. I'd like to lose it. I'd like to be okay. I'd like to get down. I love it when I'm 250, 240. That's a nice number for me.
Yeah.
Even less would be good. Be close to that. That's really having me talk to sports psychology. I don't know. I still like that I can get big. Takes about a month. If I just lift heavy and eat some steak, big enough, right? So, but to really get down and lose that, I haven't been able to do that yet. The lowest I've been is 250, which I love.
Yeah.
And it's great. I can do shit. Hey, again, my story's a little different. I'm bigger. I'm 6'3". I weighed 270 to 310. Can't crawl on the ground. I wasn't doing yoga. I wasn't, maybe I should have, right? Again, your full-time job, full-time body. I would go do all that stuff. Okay. What a life. And today I love living not like.
Well, the thing is, when you are bodybuilding and, like you said, chasing a pro card as an example, it's so important that, you've got to stick to a plan if you're pursuing elite level sport. And actually, like you said there, doing something like running, you've got to protect your joints. So what's your priority as a bodybuilder? So it's like, okay, well, I can't do something that's going to add additional impact to my joints, and I'm heavier than a runner. Runners are pretty lean generally, and it's what you're willing to put into the sport per se. Because if that's what you believe is your goal, right? I want a pro card, I want to pursue it. Then if you're working a full-time job, like you say, all of these things, it's like, I have to nail every aspect of that, because you start missing meals, you start missing training sessions, sleep's fucked anyway, all of these things. The physique doesn't respond as it could. And if you're aiming for that pro card,
I just want to clarify that my experience about it is probably different from a lot of people.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it because the body was.
Yeah.
So it did not allow me to enjoy it. Meaning, as much as you would have thought, looking like that, wore shirts, I would cover up. I'm still covered up right now. I still a little bit of a degree out of that. And I wasn't the guy who was like, look at me. It was always, I suck. I'm not running home. So it's different. Who am I? I'm nobody. And in my experience, bodybuilding didn't help. I lost. Immediately, lost, kept losing. So I was a tall basketball player trying to be a bodybuilder. I mean, it's the ultimate. That's really hard to do. And most that are ranking aren't even going to attempt, because it took forever to build muscle, get strong. But it's fun. It's fun if you can do it, because then you won't be. You can be a real strong guy. But it's tough for bodybuilding. I was born to this, which is what I wanted to say. Here's what the rule I would use if you want to go down the path of trying to really be a pro. I think it's a waste of time unless this happens. The pros, I hung out with a lot of pros because I lived on the East Coast from here. The guys that Evan Centopani, Jay Cup, Ronnie Coleman. You don't, the sport pick, meaning you aren't built and born with the genetics to be one of the best. You will be picked out of the crowd and told about
Yeah. Yeah.
it. Okay. Michael Locke, great example. That guy, man, he don't do shit. He's born. Was, you look at him, I know that guy. I used to watch it. Eat candy. I mean, he looks like that. So first off, you will be chosen. You won't be a stocky built guy, and it will not be that hard. The sad stories are the guys like me who want everything about my genetics. Are telling me, no, not me. You're not. And I'm going, yeah. I'm gonna show you. And bodies like that. I thought you're gonna die. The guys that are really good at this don't even need to do much, and so just remember that's so true in a lot of sports. You're going to be great at basketball. You're going to be 6'8", or sorry, I mean maybe like the one guy, but you got to be honest, and I think that's hard. And then you get in. I want to do okay. Well, what's the pro part going to do for you? Are you going to be able to turn that into money?
Yeah,
I would argue that's probably, or is it just if it's just something you wanted? Well, then the show and. I mean, you're again, okay, if you're okay with meds and you're okay with doctors and you're okay, that's probably where this is going to go to some degree. So I don't know. I mean, I get it. I think a lot of us are a little doing it. Like, if you're trying to really do it, taking roid, just buddy. Let me hear your story. I haven't met a normal bodybuilder. I have not bodybuilding chick. We all are struggling with something. And some of us are in denial. Some of us are using bodybuilding completely to deal with it, which that works. It works until it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that was my, it worked. I could feel the tide turning. It more of a problem than it was a good thing. But initially, it was a good thing. You know why? It kept me so ticked. That's another part. I couldn't go to bars when I was young. I quit drinking at 23. I was sober at 23. That got me in all the uncomfortable situations. If I was in a bar and you're trying to hang out with friends, nope, I bought a weekend. I don't drink. Awesome reason. Always work. People look at me and go, yeah, that guy's cool. And so there's my tip, that got me through that until I could get comfortable enough where I am today, where I look at you and go, I don't do whatever. You drink, go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. It's not going to help me achieve anything I'm trying to do. I've done all drugs. One of my drug thing is there are drugs out there that have positive benefits that we're still figuring out. There are drugs you can do a lot of them if you're not going to hurt yourself. It's unfortunate society is really into a couple of drugs that are just no good at all. For one is alcohol.
Yeah.
It's absolutely working. There's no science that it can cause cancer. It's a major problem. It's why houses are full of people. It's because we serve alcohol on every damn corner. We put it in planes, we put it everywhere. And to me, it's hilarious. Absolutely garbage. And that's unfortunate. Along with food, that's next. But, so there are some, I think marijuana would be, you're better off with marijuana just because you can't kill yourself. Go ahead. I have a friend, 38 years old, liver and a kidney. Well, you can get the kidneys up. Steroids, I'd argue, are in the middle. I think 200 milligrams of testosterone might be a good one. I think a lot of men probably have low testosterone, so they can't be motivated and such that. It's a miserable way to live life. You probably could use some testosterone that way. It's a magical drug that I've seen many professionals trying to get on and go, and shake that. It's awesome. Yeah. Well, then I tell them, well, you take 5 times out of it. That's how much I used to be, they go through my testosterone test and it's the max. They can't, you're it's like you're a gorilla. You're absorbed with testosterone. And I just want to say that when you're on that much stuff, BS, you see those guys, they're not smiling, walking around. You're walking around.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. It's tough. It's, you're aggressive, dude. You go stand in a show and look at pro body, but look at you. I remember guys looking at me like, I'm like, are we gonna fight? You know, use that because we're all, you know, that's all it's all every androgen you can get in your body, right? So I don't want to look like that. My life's too short. Doesn't have to work. That's really what happened. You know, I'm done fighting. Let's just enjoy it. I love working out. I love being in shape. It's benefits everywhere in your life. And I love challenging myself to keep my body, you know, in physical shape, like running, you know, playing with my son, playing golf. You know, I want to enjoy my life. I almost lost, but I couldn't walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could have took my legs. I mean, who knows, you know, so I just want to enjoy my body, but I love being strong. And I'll admit, you know, the one thing I'll say, yeah, it's fun today because I don't have to work really hard and I look good. And I put 12 years in, and it's like, I just go to the gym, work out 45 minutes, and I'm bigger than everybody. I live in the middle of nowhere. Big guy. You know, it's fine for me. I'm like, yeah, and that's cool. You know, and I know if I wanted to get real serious, I know what I think the food thing is a bad thing. Learning how to eat with those diets, pretty much what I would recommend. I shape and to share with everybody when you go to clinic, they're going to say it's good to look place. Good to look place. You know, that this thing, a regular degree, they might say, we're going to try to bench. They're warning me that, you know, then that, you know, too. See it. So I'm nervous. Naturally, I lift pretty heavy, strong. So, you know, to really lose fat, I have to try in the gym. You can't just go in there. You got to push it, and like a bodybuilder. And then I burn fat pretty much without, you know, cardio. Burning it because all the muscle I have. You know, if I truly get it going, just today is a regular diet. Eating a lot. And that's been fun. I'm sorry. And the chicken breast and rice, it's fun to just have to not worry about. You know, like I don't have to leave the house freaking public food. And you know, I got tired.
Yeah.
And some people are with I'm not that I was not even that. And that's what I was not built. I'm a creative guy. I like to live like that. It was really hard for me to live like that. People around me knew it because I wasn't.
Yeah. Because you institutionalize yourself, don't you? Because as I mentioned earlier about what goes into bodybuilding, if you are pursuing the sport, as it were, it's like you say, timing of meals, making sure you've got meals with you at all times, making sure you hit a fluid target, a step target, you do your bedtime routine.
Hairstyle,
Yeah.
supplements. You know, you can get so picky. It's endless. You could spend money on it forever. I mean, I spent so much money on body, massage, and coach.
This is a good point, how expensive it is.
Well, drugs. You know, you're spending $2,000 a month. Sometimes, you know, I mean, it's crazy. Having to do that and find it. It's a lot of work. And, you know, all that proves to me is when I put my mind to it, I will run through a wall, get it done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll do whatever I got to do. But there's other goals you can apply that to that'll pay off way better. That's kind of what I'm thankful I don't think many of us in bodybuilding have a choice. They're just on autopilot. They don't even know. Man, I'm going to tell you to go down that path. No trauma therapy. You got to be ready to, you know, ready to run through the cold, man, because there's no way through it other than crying. You know, bodybuilders are crying. You know, I go here. You know, it's those amount of roids. I don't know if I could have accessed that. You know, that was why I needed those. You know, the boosting it up, fight it out. Because you're like this. Bodybuilding and steroids make that just make it easy, right? You're just ready to go, and that's all.
Also, if you don't deal with certain aspects of your mental health and potentially trauma, etc., the things we've spoken about today, if you don't deal with it, then you can keep pushing because you become a robot. So it's like, I don't need to worry about that. You know, I can put that off and I can resonate so much with your story and actually what I've personally gained from psychedelics. You know, that feeling of freedom, because we're probably very, very similar in regards to that busy mind, always wanting to push, push, push. Psychedelics, stop, stop, feel what freedom is. And I'd love to hear your take on it as well, actually. When I have psychedelics, I'm happy with my body, but the rest of the time, I'm questionable, you know?
I have not been doing psychedelics recently. I did them I was really doing them during the trauma and after divorce. And what they were helping me with is it would allow me to see things from a totally different,
Yeah.
open up my mind to different perspectives. Obviously, I think it helped understand how it affected, understanding how it affected, and realizing that this was what you get,
Yeah.
and allowing me to accept it. And then at the same time, whatever it did, all that ketamine, everything, just loosening me up, experience those feelings, to let them out, to go back and relive it. That's what happened during that in part, and just burst. And boom. And I haven't cried a lot since. I mean, it was like, it was going through it.
Yeah.
It was all this thing going through it. And there was a lot of, the divorce I've had me, I was in an open relationship. Was just going well. I never, from that trauma, the funniest thing that's sad about me is one thing that happened. It's finally seemed to be gone. I could never break up with a girl.
Yeah.
And it was what I think it was. I was a kid and that girl stopped. I did not want it to stop because I had somewhat of a relationship. And what I was told by the police guy, I could not talk. She lived right behind. I think a lot of trauma, I would see her, I wanted to go back. I was scared of the police. I'm a kid. And again, no one's talking to me. I'm not telling anybody this. This is just in your head and you're in third grade.
Yeah.
So for the rest of my life, every time I would struggle and almost want to kill myself so bad breaking up. And I would go through that. So the divorce was the ultimate. That was just okay. So that's going on, doing the second ballot there, and then we hit it. And it's like a miracle. It's a miracle. It was like everything had to happen. I had to be that depressed, that miserable to even try this. So just be that much pain that I was willing to do this. And that's really why I think I would be concerned about not getting healing. Is if you look at me, it's like how much I was paid. It was hurting me physically. It hurt my relationships. I could not. It was rooting everything, even though it wasn't obvious. And when all this stuff happened, it was really hard for me because I'm a very successful guy. Like you can look at my life and say it was amazing. I was making a ton of money. I was doing all these things that were amazing. And I think that was hard. That kept me in that life. You could easily say, I'm successful. But what do you want? And I think a lot of bodybuilders body up. Yeah, you're perfect, right? Yeah. Because I think self-love and respect for myself would have made me do steroids even careful with it or not enough. I'm not going to say without it, but really at the end, if you look back, it's like it's so risky that started infection. Maybe there would have been an even safer. I would have been more concerned about that. I really didn't. Those diets you get from those coaches. Yeah, just because he's a great. I mean, the one time the guy telling you to do the insulin. Yeah, I don't know. I'm doing insulin. Nobody around the first time. I had the dosage totally wrong. I should have. Many times I got completely like that. I could have died.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the shit we did. And it was like, whatever. It's crazy. So yeah, it's a miracle how that happened. And I am worried because I think that balance is just knowing what hard I fought to get that. There's not a lot of people that are going to do that.
But also, I'm sure you'll agree, Jeff, when you've described the victim mentality essentially, and it's something that I realized I was doing myself. So every relationship I was going into, I was wanting to be a victim. So I was attracting people that wanted to be with a victim. And I lived my life in my last marriage. Every day I woke up with, so much sadness because I didn't think I could get any better. And on the face of it, no one knew. I lived every single day like this. I'd have days where I'd want to step in front of a car because I thought, there's no point in me being on this earth. But everyone else thought I had a perfect marriage. I'm a bodybuilder. I've got a perfect aesthetic in their mind. Everything is great and very similar to what you've described. But it wasn't until I decided I've got to fucking respect myself here. I need to love myself that I walked away. I walked out, and it was, it changed my whole life. And it wasn't until I loved myself that this happened. And we're so, you go through this life of in this sort of victim mentality or whatever we want to call it, and you just don't see your self-worth. And I had exactly the same as you. I was like, actually, I've got a pretty good life, but it feels a bit weird when you're so used to punishing yourself, right?
Yeah. Or you feel, I still struggle with that. I don't, I can say, yeah, I brag all day. Do I give myself enough pat on the back? I've been doing more pats on the back because there is a lot of things I do. Like I hope a lot of people get so, but even that, I'll take that down because I make money.
Yeah.
I mean, really, what I'd say is I love it because it's both.
Yeah.
You're helping people and you can make a buck. So, that's what I love. And that part, I think today, trauma therapy did has given me a lot of acceptance. I think I'm more honest with who I am. I have my faults. Some of this stuff is personality. I'm an aggressive guy. Some of this stuff, I just got to be honest with myself and go, it's who I am. And so I'm not going to lie and put down the most gentle guy in the world. No. Capable of being an asshole. Yeah, very. Done it many times. But I'm also a guy who admits he's wrong. He's worked really hard to change. Genuinely wants to help people. Doesn't want to. I don't want to hurt anybody out. That was never the case. And that's what's sad about it. That's not who I wanted to be. I just really was not in control. I think that's hard for people to understand. I also was in denial. Was I losing my temper? Is it okay to be? It's not, it's intimidating without even yelling. I can be intimidating. Very little, to see that and start to realize that's not really who I want to be. And what I would say after the trauma therapy is there was a moment where I realized that I could trust my feelings and trust what I thought was right. I think most of my life I didn't trust, thought I was crazy. I didn't know my feelings. I didn't know if they were right, especially when, not feeling very attached. Well, especially if I loved it, I would be this. I got done with it. It was like, I feel, like I said, I feel normal. I think something's wrong, something's off. I can talk about it. I pretty much know, okay, that's right. So it's like being reborn. And we were talking the other day, I still have a lot of people that help me. I would argue that, yes, I've been mature. I'm sure there's people out there. And yeah, I've been stuck with my whole life. If anything, I feel like I'm just learning now. Now it's like, okay, I can deal with life. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to be the best body. I don't need to, it's okay. I don't know. And I'm okay with, I guess, who I am. And I'll tell you right now, I'm a little fat right now. I've been shaving. I don't know. I stopped worrying. And it's like, whatever, man. I just want to be, and
Just want to be free.
I'm being very about it, and I know that these guys, and it's because of, I guarantee bodybuilding not as fun for me, just, having anorexia, basically. That took all the fun out of it. I did not enjoy it. Never did. Tried after everybody traumatic to go out. I mean, I could not. So it was really hard. I really knew what it was like, and you're not going to enjoy it. I think today, if I could go into it with this mindset, I would probably be a much healthier bodybuilder, and I bet you I'd look a lot better because I bet you my cortisol levels are way down. because I used to live on, not sleeping. Life was like a panic. Like a panic. And I had no medication. And that's one thing. I love talking about meds because I've worked with a lot of men that need to get one. And it's so sad that a lot of people have thoughts they do. If I could tell you there's pills you could take that would make life easier, happier, just better. There are. And I'm on some great meds I religiously take. I love it. And it's because I spent so many years still dry. But for men, it doesn't show up. Depression showed up differently in my life. In the end, the depression was the creepiness in the age. I was a creepy guy, easy to go. I needed, it's almost like gel. I had just to eat. It's okay. And I found some great meds that finally, I will probably never. And really, that's what everyone's saying.
The thing is as well though, Jeff, I'm sure you heard similar stories with being around bodybuilders, particularly ones that are pursuing, pro cards, etc. That, there is coaches that are out there that say, pour your anger into bodybuilding. Don't get upset. For you to reach out to a coach and say, look, mate, I'm struggling. I'm really fucking struggling mentally. I don't feel good enough. I've got bigorexia, whatever thought processes you have, going to potentially do that and reach out to their coach if they don't have anyone else around. And will their coach say, no, push on. You're looking great. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. For me as a coach, it's like, I want to dig down on what, where you're coming from, what you want to get from the sport, because it is due diligence from my part. I see what it does to people if you're not in it for the right reasons.
Well, Cyril, I could give you an idea. If you wanted to be one of the first coaches to do this, I thought about this. They should go to therapy if they want to be with you. Meaning, you're looking at them, they're coming to you, you're going, hey, guess what? I'm just going to be honest with you. Not many people want to do this unless something happened to them. Right? So let's find out what happened. The pitch would be this. If you get healthier mentally, you will look better on stage.
Yeah, for sure.
I would argue that probably could happen. Either two things would happen. Either one, you would quit, which that could happen.
That's good. That's a good thing.
That'd be fine. You're saying you don't have to do this thing that you were just trying to cover up some emotional stuff with. Or, number one, you would be a better body, more concerned about your health. You'd sleep, and you treat yourself better, and all of that would keep your career going, and allow you, I would say, because that's what happened. And unfortunately, it's probably going to show up in other areas of life. And I would argue containing anger in the gym is not realistic. And I think all of us are not completely honest. And there are some guys that are on steroids, the nicest guys. That's great, but they probably have personalities for it. Like that, I would argue more aggressively tone aggressive as a male. So then you add steroids. And I didn't run around. Listen, I never assaulted anyone. I was never punching people. I could control myself, but I still lost my temper. And I would act more and scare people. And I did that. I got out of road rage, things like that I had done. And not even, I thought it was fun. I was on training.
Oh no, Trent.
Get out of a kid behind me, flicked me on. It's 294 guy coming up. Sure, shoot, it's kid, his penis. It could shot. She's shot. Somebody's gonna do that. You can't do that. You get shot. I just love that I can live life today and walk in and smile. And just walking to places. It's a joke. Life to me is fun and a joke. And I'm happy. I have a great life. I got an awesome son. There's nothing wrong. It's good. It's not perfect, but I go into places now and I challenge myself to have it. This is from the psychedelics, to have a different attitude.
Yeah.
If anything, to look at everything and always challenge myself, find the good. And if you had a life like mine, that is what you have. You would kill yourself.
For sure.
That might. Everything happens. There's good, body thought. a really valuable lesson. I'm glad I'm done. It was a cool part of my life. And yes, it's fun to walk around and be 290 pounds of muscle. That's fun. And I got to experience that. And most people never know what that's like. It's a really different life. It's everywhere you go. You get people ask you, they respect you. It's really cool. And it was fun to do that. Is it worth at 60? That's the part, and I'm really hopeful that I can take care of my health. I'm just want to try to make that.
We are
And
good.
that's the part, I worked my ass off. I got older. Like, I never went retirement. I'd like to see it. I started thinking, I'm like, where the hell am I saving all this money? Dead at 60, well, and I'd like to see my son and be there. And so that's my new kind of goal that I like having. Let's go to do some running. Let's go do some hard cardio. Let's try to keep the weight down so it's easier on my heart. And you notice some of the bodybuilders be it. Like, your arms look pretty thin. Palumbo lost all that weight. I think they know that if you get rid of you can maybe keep that heart going. That's what you might see me on. Like, really try to take my body. I get it back 200, 210. That'd be my goal. Yeah, live long. I think I'm going to be honest. Not Sunday. 300 pounds meteor, muscle guy.
Yeah. Because you said as well with your heart, your first signs were you were doing like really heavy sets and then you'd hang on to a machine and it would be like, this is pretty cool.
Well, I thought it was funny. And no one's going to question you when you're out of breath and you're a huge dude and you just pulled off a great lift. I mean, going to the mall. I was showing the mall, shopping. My wife at the time, and I'd have to go sit down. And choose, and so now I didn't keep track of my steps back then, but now, I love being free, and, and especially with my son, just being able to, I do all the trainer after that. I love challenging it's like, I want to make a workout book, and we could just put workouts that you can do as 4-year-olds, like go to the park and climb the things with them. And I do that. And I love challenging myself. And it's because for 12 years of my life, I wouldn't ski, I wouldn't do mosh pits, I wouldn't play basketball, I didn't do anything.
You might injure yourself.
No, I wouldn't fight. I mean, I tried to avoid it all.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you're free. What do you want to do? Oh, man, I want to do everything. I want to golf, I want to rollerblade. I'm trying to do it all. And then so that's the restrictive part where I don't think bodybuilders are going to be honest about what they're missing out on. If you're really into it, you're probably missing out. Life is short. Like, you're not going to get more of it. So you can trade it bodybuilding and it's fun and it has kicks. I get it. But man, there's a lot of things you can be doing too. That and what I'm discovering now. What do I want to do?
Yeah.
I love what I'm doing today. It's fun, to have that freedom. But I still love working out. And that's the great thing. Bodybuilding has taught me. It's real easy for me to get to the gym and to get that in. And that's something that we look at a lot of people aren't. Nobody. I'm sorry. A lot of guys shoot what you see. Versus I lived on the East Coast, New Jersey, Connecticut, much more health conscious. Out here, it's just unbelievable how many people don't work out and aren't healthy, right? And so it's great to have that, to have that habit form and going to the gym probably 5 days a week. You can do that's the norm. I like doing that. And today, on my days off, I love to be active and challenge myself to hike or, all the things I knew that to do. But it's hard. I still weigh 270. It's still tough. It's a lot of weight. I mean, that's the way I'd say to the big guy about it. You build it, tough to get rid of.
Yeah, for sure. If someone's listened to this and they go, okay, so there's a lot of the things that Jeff's spoken about, potentially trauma or things that they're suffering with, and they're listening, they're a bodybuilder. What would your message be if someone's thinking about coming away from the sport and that, they've got to make that identity shift and to actually gravitate away? Is there anything in particular that you'd want to share
think get some, me, it's twofold. I waited till I got injured.
Yeah,
So I had a lot of motivation not to go back. Because by then the disaster already happened.
for sure.
If you wait, you might not be as lucky as me. I got lucky. I got lucky I got that infection. If I wouldn't have got that infection, how it would have shown up? I may have just had a heart attack and died, like John Meadows, like those guys. I was heading for their demise. And you see it all the time. The guys that die from heart issues. So, what was the question you said again?
So if someone's listened and they think, okay, this is me, I feel like I need to potentially look at coming away from bodybuilding.
I would get into, you're gonna need, and we talked, Dr. O'Connor and I talked about it. I wish there was a support. If you look at a lot of things that you put, addictions, things like that, you get around other people that are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So you're gonna need to first get away from everybody. I don't go to the same gyms. I don't hang out with the same people. I don't care. And for a while, I didn't want to go at all because I was like embarrassed, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of, you got to wait till you find the happy medium where you're going to be. But initially, it's just like putting anything. You got to get away from it. I would get support so you don't go back. I would the reasons why you're walking away and make sure you have that like written down and you're looking at it so you don't forget it.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see more of that. Yeah, I would hope if you could realize that maybe it'll be go to the doctor. Maybe that's have you done just blood work, tell them you're taking steroids, worrying about your health. See if I would argue maybe that there's some consequences. I don't know, go get your sperm tested. How many are you making? That's how you can tell real quick if you're getting a woman pregnant. I'll tell you this, I found out I make $1 million. No, you need 200, at least 200, like 200, 200, something like that. Just maybe start off by figuring out where you're at with your health. And maybe entering therapy to find out why you have a hard time walking. Because I'm going to tell you, if you were normal and you were worried, probably be able to put it down without effort and just transition over. Just look using steroids.
Yeah.
If you're normal, you probably do that pretty emphasis when you're ready to you're like, this makes sense. I'm pretty nice. Really, the first be go health and see where you're at.
Yeah, that's
And then
good.
I would get counseling. If therapy didn't work, trauma therapy. There's different types. Educate yourself on that. Most therapists out. Sorry. It's really hard to find a good one, just like it's hard to find an awesome hairdresser, right?
Yeah.
Hairdressers are. And so one of the tricks in finding a good therapist, the good ones, guess what?
They cost.
Yeah, just like the best coaching.
Yeah.
So that is one trick. But I would argue if you think it's a trauma, like you were bullied or abused, sexually abused, then it's most likely trauma. But see if you can get a good trauma. If you're doing an EMDR, any type like that, like find out what type of therapy they're offering. Like the other communities, other types. If you want to try and intermediate, I tried to tell you, in 6 that year, I think some people don't go on.
Yeah.
So you go, it's not just 1 or 2 times, this is like a commitment, but it's worth it. And it would pay off. And I think it's like we talked about, it's a real restrictive life. There's a lot of things you can be doing. I think that's the part that, it's sad when bodybuilding missed a lot of stuff. Achieve that. I don't know if you're going to feel that fulfilled.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I trophies, they're cool. I mean, it's cool. I got pictures. That's what it is. Really, the rest
Yeah, I
of
like my pictures.
That's what you're going to live with. I mean, which is cool. And by the way, just so the guys know, all you got to do is like win one show and you're cool. You're a bodybuilder. I mean, that's for life. You can pull that. So if you're thinking about getting out of it, you already got the pics. Yeah, that's it. No one's going to care after. You're just going to show them that. Man, I look like this. Okay. And trust me, they can't
They're-
tell the difference between your local show and a TV pro. They can't. They're gonna think you look amazing because most people are not in any type of shape.
Yeah.
So that's not, we have the expectation. It's like we're way off. We have no idea that, guys, listen, you put a little bit on, the girls think you're there.
And it's all, yeah.
Girl, yeah, ask a girl what she thinks is big. Just regular girl. She's gonna be like, that guy. Yeah, he's big. Yeah. Nothing. You always got more. That's what it's that much. It's not a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's like for females, you get to a point in off season and you feel humongous. I'm not gonna lie, you walking around thinking, of course you accrue body fat when you accrue muscle, right? So it's a constant like, what are people thinking of me? They must think that girl doesn't even train. And Matt's like, fucking hell, my other half. Most people would die for your figure, and I'm like, no, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. And it's true.
And the trick is feel. I never could feel the happiness. I feel it today. I actually, I think I'm on pretty good look. That's some truth.
Yeah.
That's actually, that's how I knew I was big. Is enough people told day in, day out that eventually I had to admit to myself, wait, I'm big. It could happen 5 times a day. People would stop me and ask if I was in the WWE or I was an NFL player. That's I knew I should accept. But I could never enjoy it.
Yeah.
In my book, enjoy my body and think, wow, that's pretty, and that's really what happened, and probably why I'm okay. Now it's become a little more sane. Like, listen, no one can tell the difference between this and they barely care, and it doesn't mean as much as I think it means. What I would tell the guys in the end is just realize girls don't give a shit about this. They're not the girls you're gonna want are not gonna like beg when you're that big. Sorry, that's street. And that's the deal. In the end, we're trying to be streets. I want people to throw up in this song, But really, it's putting you in a category of not many people are going to think it's cool or safe. You're going to be like a freak. I want it, but there came a point where I started to look at guys that normal, very normal. I became somewhat jealous.
I want to be normal.
I started wanting to be more of a normal looking guy. I was like, hey, that guy, he fits in the regular suit normal and you can wear it all tight. You couldn't get caught. I would go up and down in weight. I mean, I'd always either have too big or it's ready to rip. And you just look at the guy who's like, he's normal. And again, the normal girls like talking. That's what happens if these guys, when they start, if you want it, you really want it, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And also, like you said, does that actually bring fulfillment? Because when you're a big guy pushing up, can you move as much as a normal person, like you say? Are you doing things like yoga? Are you doing any cardio? Because everything is about chasing the muscle, right? So then it's like, you can't get involved in normal activities because it's difficult.
I just thought I was where I did it. I was very disciplined in that aspect and committed. I also was not. I was very nervous for muscle on, which I think was part of.
Yeah,
that was part of the trick. If anything, I would say that I was wrong about. I should have done way more cardio. Probably would have looked way better. I might have. It was a total. But again, that's stuff missing your head thinking, that you need to be and not. I think maybe the lack of self-love, or maybe I was even depressed. It was so hard to feel good and want to move and want to do. You kind of when you're taking those things, you don't feel good. You're running around. I mean, I used to nap. Talk about sleep. I would die in the afternoon. I have to nap. I have to lay down. I wouldn't sleep good at night. I look at my phone. So guys, there's more. It's more than just the muscle. I don't think they see it. I don't think anyone really tells the total truth. Just that. Guys you see on that look like they're doing a community. You just might turn on the Instagram one day and see that they got it. That's why it happened. They can fake it until it happens. And it's just like me. 2 days before this all happened, I looked the best. I was 290 pounds, 10% body fat, looking amazing. I was big. Like I was trying to get, I wanted 3 more years to turn pro in 4 years. I was not paid, but couldn't do it. My job, maybe if I could afford, maybe if I wanted to be broke, just, and I never wanted that. I didn't want it. I wanted to work. I was a personal trainer. I wasn't getting enough to get any sponsors, either make a living, so there was no choice. And I don't know who does. It seems like watered down. No, I don't. That's part of quitting too. Is just quit looking at that shit. I don't look at it anymore. I don't even care. I look at the Olympia and I don't think they look good. I'm like, who is this? And a couple of them I very barely follow it, but that's part of. You need to move your mind. Now I watch golf, but that's what you got to do. Move your mind out there, and if you want to quit.
Yeah.
It's really tough thing, and that's why I just say those. Every one of these guys doesn't believe. Yeah, he's always waiting for me to go back because everybody does.
Yeah.
And like every time I'm like, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, I don't
Believe me.
that. I don't know. I do not want to do that. I have a hard time taking my regular testosterone. It's like, no, but they think you're gonna, and I mean, it's because a lot of those guys that died, they got the same results. And they just went right back.
Yeah, for sure.
You probably convince yourself right now that when I have normal test results, oh, you could go back, right? And there are guys that do that. They go get healthy, then go back. And I think, so it's scary, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's scary that you can see everybody drop.
Yeah, it is.
Like you're seeing it get so good that they post that. Right, there's your one. Yeah. What sport has, I know football's not the greatest. Prematurely, last 40, you're going down. And that to me that's not worth it.
Yeah, but also, Jeff, well, bodybuilders, they commit suicide because they are so mentally, hooked on that progression. Am I ever going to be good enough? And they may do a show, not get the placing that they were hoping for. They're chasing pro cards or whatever. They cannot take it anymore. So they take their life. And it does need to be talked about.
I didn't realize that. Is that really? Because I believe it. I mean, that to me is really, really sad. Somebody really, you could argue it's your body is all you have.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch some people. I feel like they're suicide. It's just they're killing themselves so. It's pretty obvious. Some people share it. You've had help. Scared, and I think that's what you get. And you get a couple. I don't know. I mean, I'm crazy, but if the doctor tells me, I'm going to, here's the test, and you see the result, it's very real. I mean, and that's what I think is the good advice we had on this. You want to quit boxing, the first thing you should do is go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Get checked. Because I want you to hear the truth about your health. And then you have a choice to make. Either you can adjust and you accept that truth, which I think a lot of people do. I think for me, going to the doctor, I respect doctors, having them tell me, you're just embarrassed. Like this, I want to be healthy. Naturally, want to be healthy, right? And so I think that's a real eye opener for me. But I guess it parallels alcohol because a lot of guys get arrested and drinking and don't quit, and a lot of us get doctor and don't quit. I think the first step is go get the truth, find out where you're at, and then you should probably tell somebody. You should tell someone that loves you.
Yeah,
the truth. And see what they say. Maybe you're crazy. Go listen to other people. That's a great way. And I love it. You try telling the truth of what you're doing to regular people and watch their reaction.
I love doing that. When you describe a day and they're like,
I take those 3 different jugs from China, one made in my trainer's basement, and I inject them in my, it's on, I go tanning all day, and, it's like, they're going to look at you like you're insane. And it is. It is pretty crazy.
For sure. And for years, I've buzzed on that, as we spoke about, and it does get that way. Now, if someone listens and they resonate with you or they're having a tough time, would your DMs be open on Instagram for them to message you? Is that something that you'd be up for?
Yeah, I'm always helping. We got my 80 guys in my showroom. just amazing that many people reach out. But from the movie attitude, you can always write all the resources I use. Honestly, if you're encountering, for anybody to deal with, and what doctors you would need to go to too. That's probably. But you got to start with primary care.
Yeah.
Then you get into a heart doctor. So you get a physical.
Yeah, thank you. No, that would be ace. So I'll put your Instagram handle in the description. But thank you for this episode, Jeff. I've absolutely loved having you on. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome. Hope I didn't bash bodybuilding too much.
No. This is the thing. Again, if people are aware and they can listen and they take insight, that doesn't mean that they're going to stop bodybuilding. But if they're a bit more aware about what the cost can be, then of course, it's more informed, which is what a podcast is about. You can learn, right?
True. You're right. A lot of stuff about that.
Thank you, Jeff. And I'm going to speak to you real soon.
Thank you.
you.
Okay.